and I've got a great little recipe for you. Some of you may have seen it on my Instagram if you followed me before. What I'm gonna make for you today is some peanut butter dessert swirls. First, zoom down to these lovely cheetah pants. You gotta see these. If you guys like my cheetah pants, give this video a thumbs up. I'm feeling a little extra feisty whenever I wear these pants, so I must warn you. Okay, so what you're gonna need for your peanut butter dessert swirls, I've got my oven already turned on. We're gonna cook these on the stovetop. I've already got it heated with a little Pam spray in there. Okay, so the next things you're gonna need, I am going to use my P28 flat wraps. These are delicious, high in protein. Again, if you guys wanna try out the P28 products, you now know I have a discount code. Use that code on their website if you want to get some stuff for 10% off. These wraps are really nice. They're fluffy, they're a little bit thicker, they have a nice sweetness to them. The flavor's really good. If you don't have the P28 flat out wraps, you could use another type of wrap. I wouldn't recommend doing like a tortilla wrap or something too thin. These work nice because they're so soft and fluffy. So try to look for something the same consistency. The other thing I'm going to use to kind of sweeten the outside of the flat out wraps, I'm going to use some stevia and some ground cinnamon. And I'm also going to use some of this Ideal brown sugar you guys see me use. I know many of you can't find it. I actually can't find it in stores either. I order it online. This is completely optional. You don't have to use it. I just like it because it is a little bit sweeter than the stevia. So completely optional whether or not you guys have it. The other thing I'm going to use too, I've got my P28 peanut butters here. The signature blend, which has become my new favorite. If you guys have not tried this, it'll amaze your taste buds. And then I've also got here the banana one. Okay, so I'm going to use 2 different flavors to kind of switch it up. Again, if you guys don't have the P28 peanut butter, you can use a different type of peanut butter. What I will say though is it's not going to be as high in protein. That's kind of the point of why I'm making it with the P28 products, to get that protein content up a little bit higher. So you can see how delicious those nut butters are there. The signature blend has some cranberries in it. It's so good. The banana one's got some raisins in it. It's delicious. Okay, so what I'm going to first do, what I've done is kind of sliced up. I'm not using a whole wrap. I'm just using basically a half of one, and I just cut it up into strips. Okay, so I've got my strips already cut up. I'm going to set those aside for now. What I'm going to do is kind of just make my plate sugary, because we're going to kind of dip those in there. And I'm not really measuring this amount out. I just want to make sure I spread it evenly on the plate so that it gets on the flat wraps. So, not too many calories in this, not too concerned with the nutritionals, but up to you and how closely you're watching things. Okay, sprinkle on some cinnamon. All right, obviously not going to use all this amount, but not a huge deal. So you're just going to make sure it's kind of like mixed up on your plate evenly. Just going to set that down. What I'm going to do is, just using your Pam spray, I'm going to spray the outsides of my little wraps here. Get them nice and wet. And then I'm just going to soak them right on in there. And this helps get all the good stuff to stick on there without adding any calories to it. You know, most recipes would have you use butter or something, oil. Not necessary. We don't need that greasy flavor. Okay, try not to make too much of a mess, but you want to kind of get that sugar coating all on the outside. Okay, that's pretty good. Make sure I get it on the ends too. Don't want to miss out on any of that sweetness. Okay, so I've got my 3 little wraps here. What I'm going to do now is spread some of my peanut butter on there. Got measured out 2 tablespoons of peanut butter. Again, it's going to be up to you guys how much you need in your diet, how much you're going to use. Okay, so I've used about a little bit over 2 tablespoons of peanut butter, but I've got them nice and thick on here. This one's got the signature blend on it. Just spread it. See, the back's all sugar. You want to spread it all the way to the ends of the flat wrap. Because what we're going to do is roll these little suckers up. so it'll stick better if you've spread the peanut butter all the way to the end. Voila, there's one signature blend, 1 banana raisin, and then 1 half and half. You guys can really do a ton with this recipe, obviously. I could come up with 1,000 ideas, but you know, you could use whatever peanut butter you want if you don't use the P28. Another idea I had was if you wanted, you could cut up some fruit, dice it up nice and small, and kind of add that in the middle of it too, depending on what your macronutrient needs are. Look how delicious and sugary those little suckers look. I'm making a mess everywhere, but that's okay. All right, so now what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna put them on the stovetop, which I already have turned on and heated. Hear them sizzling. Sizzle, sizzle. I'm gonna be badass and I'm just using my fingers for these guys. Woohoo. Okay, what we're gonna do is just cook them all the way on the outside, and then you wanna make sure you cook them like that too. Cook them on the side too, to cook them all the way through. Do you have to cook these? Absolutely not, but I like it because it gets the peanut butter all nice and warm and melty. It makes it taste more like a dessert than your average like peanut butter sandwich. So to cook them up, heat them. You could store them if you want, put them in a little container and bring them to work the next day if you want. I would say maybe just heat them in the microwave, and they taste just as good like that. So completely up to you. So I'm just gonna keep cooking these guys. See, they're getting nice and brown already. Doesn't take too long. Not something you want to walk away from while it's cooking. You want to stay right here and just keep moving it around. Okay guys, in a matter of minutes you've got your cute little dessert swirls. I made 3 of them with the peanut butter. You can see they're just nice and toasted. I sprinkled just a little bit more cinnamon on them, and that makes for a very nice, satisfying little treat. You could even eat it as a meal depending on what your needs are. The other thing I want to tell you about too that you could do as an option is make some type of frosting to add on to these guys. So what I did is I used my About Time Cinnamon Swirl protein. This is my favorite protein. If you guys haven't tried it, you really should. Hopefully I'll get a promo code for this stuff. I'm not sponsored by them, but I just really like their products, so you'll see I do use them a lot. This is one of the best whey isolate proteins. So what you do is you just add a little bit of water to it. Depending on how thick you want it, you add more water. So I wanted it nice and thick. Makes like a delicious type of frosting, and you can just kind of frost the top of this, or you could even just use it as a dip if you want and kind of dip it in there. So this will add that much more protein. This is a really fairly healthy recipe. You're getting about 300 calories or so, 20 grams of protein if you use the P28 products, and about 20 carbs, I believe. So give this recipe a try. Again, make the modifications you need to make it your own. I hope you like it. I think you'll be very surprised by how delicious and amazing this is. So give this a try and keep checking back, guys.